Hello guys and welcome to this course on C++ programming tutorials. Let me give you a brief introduction about this tutorial. We are going to start with the C++ programming language. There are two parts to it. One is the procedural oriented and another is the object oriented paradigm. So we are going to discuss both of them in great detail. Then after the C++ completion, we will move on to the data structures and algorithms part in the C++ as well. So I hope you stick with the course till the end, and this is the very first video. What are we going to study in this video? So as you can see on your screen, we are going to study about the hello world program in C++ programming language. This is the very first program in any programming language, so we are going to study this. But before that, I'll also tell you how you can install a simple IDE for your code. So let's get started. Going to install our C++ IDE. So for that I'll open the Google Chrome and then I'll go to the Google and I'll search code blocks download. Alright guys, so I'll just simply select it from the bottom and you can see the very first site, which is codeblocks.org. so you have to click on that. After the site opens, you will get download the binary release option there. Alright, you need to click on the option and then you will see these options below. So you have to select codeblocks 20.03 mingw setup.exe. You have to download it from sourceforge.net. As soon as you will click, the download will start, and after downloading you just need to install it. So I already have installed this, therefore I'm not going to install it again. So after installation, it's quite a simple process. You just have to click next. So after installation, you will see this code blocks icon on your screen. Alright guys, so it's quite simple process. Now let's start. Okay guys, so after you have installed your IDE, your code blocks will look something like this. You will have to press Ctrl Shift N. Alright guys, Ctrl plus Shift plus N in order to open a new file, and you will have to press the Ctrl S key in order to save it. Now I save it as the name of hello world.cpp. Alright, hello world.cpp, because it's a C++ program and you can say C and C++. So see, hello world in my case already exists, so I have overwritten that file. So now let's start with the code. Hash include IOStream, which is the input output stream, using namespace standard, int main, and cout hello world. And then I'll just simply write return 0. Alright guys, so this is our very first C++ program. So you can compile it by pressing Ctrl F9 and run it by pressing Ctrl F10. Sometimes it takes some time in order to run. So yeah, now it run and you can see hello world and process return 0 written here. So now let's explain you that what this code is actually all about. So hash include IOStream is the very first line of this code. So what does this line means? Hash include actually means that we have to include this IOStream thing and in our program. Alright, so why do we need to include this and when do we need to include this? Let me tell you. This hash include thing, alright, it's called as a preprocessor directive. See, the double slashes will make your anything you write as a comment, so that it will not count in the program. Alright, when the compiler will compile, it will not count it as a thing to compile, so you can write comments anywhere. So it's a preprocessor directive. Now what does it means is that before the compilation process, it will tell the compiler, since it's a preprocessor, so before the compilation it will tell the compiler to include this input output stream, IOStream, in our program. Now why are we including this input output stream? See, what a stream actually is, you might have seen the pipe of water. Alright, so same way a stream is a pathway and the bytes of data or bits of data flow into it. Alright, so that data can be anything, it can be various functions or whatever. Alright guys, so we need to include this stream in our program before we actually compile this. Alright, before we actually compile this program. And why do we need to do this? We need to do this because we are using a function cout. You can see here console output, which is a function which comes under this iostream file. Alright, see, actually iostream is not a file. I'll make a separate video on differentiating between a stream and a file, then you will get the correct difference. But for now you can understand that it is a kind of a header file which includes this console output function, and that's why we need to include it in our program. Alright, the next line is using namespace standard. Now why do we need to include this in our program? Why do we need to write using namespace standard? So if I don't write using namespace standard, you can see that anytime I write cout, I'll have to write it this way: standard std : cout. Alright, anytime I write this cout function, I'll have to write it this way. Now let me show you the program which we will make in the future. Already it's quite a big program which we are going to make in the future. Let me just show you that program. Alright, I have already made it. So this is a program which we are going to make it in our future, and it's a data structure program. So you can see this is quite a huge program. Alright, and we are using cout again and again. So here you can see cout so many times. Alright, also you can see here cout. It is so many times that we are using this cout function. Alright, you can see in the entire program, and you can see this thing. Alright, here cout is used continuously many times. Alright guys, so every time I write this cout, I'll have to use the standard cout thing. Alright, so it becomes hectic. So in order to avoid this, we write using namespace standard in the beginning of the program only. Alright, so we don't have to do all these things. Alright, we don't have to write standard std : cout again and again. So I guess I made my point very clear. Alright, now let's move on to int main. What is int main? See, main is a function from where the execution of our program will start. Alright, it's that simple. Main is nothing but a function from where the execution of our program will start. Now we have written int main. What does this int means? Int actually is a data type. Now what is a data type? So we are going to talk about the data types, operators, variables, identifiers in the next video. Alright, so we have the next video preserved for this. For now you can understand that data type is something, see, this function is returning a type of data. Alright, function is something which returns something. Alright, so it is returning a type of data, and the type of data this function is returning is an integer. That is why we have written int main. Alright, and since it has to return an integer, so we have written return 0 here. Alright, since it has to return an integer, we have written return 0 here. See, you can write return 1 also. The program will not show an error. We'll compile it using Control F9, and you can see there are no errors, no warning, 0 error, 0 warning. I write return 2 here, then also it will not show any error. Alright, because it simply has to return an integer value, because it is a function which is of int type. Alright, but now let me tell you, return 0 is written always. Why? Because return 0 in C++ means that the successful execution of the program has taken place. That's why we always write return 0. You can write something else also, but we write return 0 every time. Alright, now cout, this is nothing but a console output function. Alright guys, so there's a full form, and you can understand it in a simple way that in C++ we cannot write directly print hello world. Therefore we are using this function console output, by which we are writing hello world. Alright, so guys, I guess this is the thing in hello world program. I know various things are there which you might not have understood, but you will understand those things later in later videos. I'll make you comfortable with this programming language, I guarantee. Alright, so see you in the next video. Till then, hit like, subscribe the channel, press the bell icon.